Today I'll be showing you a step-by-step classic lash application using an open eye map. Before we start any lash extension application, whether it's for a full set or an infill, we always want to begin by cleansing our client's eyelashes. This is going to help our retention by giving us a clean canvas for our adhesive to work on and ensuring a beautiful bond between the natural lash and the extension. So to do this, I use an oil-free foaming lash shampoo and a disposable lip wand. Now we just want to really focus on the roots of the natural lash and then sweeping up along the length of the lash itself. If your client has any makeup on, especially foundation, you would want to focus on cleansing that under eye area as well so that your eye pads adhere to the skin nicely. Foundation can sometimes cause a bit of a barrier between the eye pad and the skin and we don't get a nice comfortable fit. So once you're done cleansing, you'd want to rinse that lash shampoo off and then just blot the eye area dry. Follow it up with using your lash fan and a lash wand to just make sure we get those lashes nice and dry and ready for application. Once the lashes are dry, the next step is to begin mapping. Now my client has a hooded eye and I want to open her eye up. So I'm going to be giving her an open eye map to help disguise that hood. So you want to get your client to focus their gaze somewhere centrally, and then while their eyes are open, mark off key areas on the eyelid. So I'm marking off the pupil, the outer, and the inner iris. You need to do this while your client's eye is open so that you know exactly where those key areas are that you need to lash. I'm now placing the eye pads on. I have the client look back with the eye open. I place that just below the waterline, covering the lower lashes, and then I'll just gently lift those upper lashes and make sure that none of them are still poking underneath the pad and that no lower lashes have escaped and are poking up. Next, I'll take primer and prime the natural lashes, especially if a client is oily or if they seem to have any residue remaining on their natural lashes. And now I'll take a Sharpie and transfer those key points that are marked on the eyelid onto the eye pad. So just drawing off the inner iris, the pupil, and the outer iris. Now, because I'm doing an open eye map, I know I need to jump down in length on that outer corner, so I'm adding an extra section there. And the lengths I've chosen to go with are 8, 9, 10, and then dropping down to 9 and 8. Although I made a little oopsie here, I was a bit distracted. That should be an 8. Now it's time to begin lashing. So I get my glue well ready. I get my lashes ready. For this client, she wants a really natural classic set, so I am using C Curl 0.15 flat lashes. Once you've dispensed your drop of glue, you just want to make sure that you burp that bottle and wipe off the nozzle to make sure that none of it clogs on the inside, and then replace your cap nice and tightly. And now it's time to get onto the good stuff, and that is lashing. You'll see in a minute how I like to work from eye to eye, but for the purpose of this video, I knew my camera's battery was about to go flat, so I wanted to focus on this eye for the next little while so that you could see my isolation and placement and how I adhere the extension to the natural lash, focusing on my placement and direction. We never want the extension to touch the skin. We want to place that extension about 1 to 2 millimeters away from the base of the lash and really focus on the direction at which we place that lash. Unless we're trying to achieve a particular effect, we generally want to place the extension perpendicular to the lash line, so at a 90-degree angle. Especially when you're doing classic lashes, there's nothing to hide behind. Every lash is on display, and so you want your direction to be really clean and straight. So I'll leave you to relax for a few minutes and simply watch me lash until we get on to working from eye to eye. Now, stickies are something that we definitely want to avoid, but they can happen from time to time. So if while you're lashing you notice that two lashes are stuck together, just grab each of them with your tweezers and gently peel them apart. There we go. At this point I felt like I wasn't getting enough of a lift or a rounding effect at the center of the lash line. So I'm placing 11s on the lower lash layer where I've got my 10 section, and I'm placing 10s on the lower lash layer where I've got my 9 section. Now you'll see how I like to work from eye to eye. So I encourage you to work on both eyes simultaneously so that you get a nice symmetrical set on your client, even if you don't manage to get 100% coverage. This is also a great idea in case the client has to leave or you have to stop service for an emergency. In this way, they won't be left with one eye lashed and the other eye not lashed. So I like to start from the corner of one eye and then move about a centimeter along that eye, placing the next lash, move a centimeter, place the lash. Just keep repeating till I get to the end of that eye and then repeat on the other eye. Make sure that you take a break every now and again to just grab your lash wand and brush through those lashes, making sure that your retention is nice and tight and that you have no stickies. If you notice a snag in your brush, that would indicate that some lashes are stuck together and you should stop, rectify those, and then continue lashing. If you do have lashes that are popping off, this would indicate that you're not getting a great bond. So either you need to check your environment, your temperature and humidity levels, maybe you need to be changing your glue drop more often, or maybe you just really need to focus on your placement and make sure that you're getting a nice flush contact with the extension and the natural lash. At this point, I'm just lifting up some of the lashes that I've already lashed to give me a better view on those lower lash layers so I can get to them. And for this, I'm using my bio gels, which I've cut in half, and I'm using a half on each eye. These are gentle enough to not pull the extensions off when you peel them off, but they're strong enough to hold those lashes up and to stretch the skin across when you're trying to get to those inner corners. They really are fantastic and will make your lash life so much easier. If you'd like me to do a separate video that goes more in depth on how I use these, then just drop a comment below and let me know. So now I am nearing the end of my lash set and I'm just doing my final brush through, making sure that I've achieved 100% coverage, I haven't missed any lashes, and that none of those bottom lashes have snuck through the pad and have stuck themselves to the upper lashes. If this has happened, just firmly hold onto the upper lashes with your finger and use your tweezers to gently slide between the bottom and the upper lash and flick them apart. I'll then grab my lash mirror, take a look at what the lashes look like from a frontal view. If there are any that seem to be throwing my set off, if either they appear to be skew or sitting a bit too high, I'll remove those and replace them. Otherwise, if everything's looking good, at this point I will apply my sealant or bonder. To do this, I use a micro brush, just put a drop on there, gently dab along the base of the lash line where that adhesive has had contact between the extension and the natural lash. This will just help the longevity of your bond and maximize your retention. Then we want to make sure that we clean off those marks on the eyelid that we made at the beginning of our set, just to mark off those key areas. Remove those before you have your client open her eyes. She doesn't need any dots on her lid with her lashes today. And then we'll just use our lash fan, gently dry the lashes off, brush them through, and then to finish, I like to use my nano mister just to set everything in place, because as we know, our adhesive relies on humidity to cure, so I find my nano mister just really helps to fast track the curing process, and it sends my client off with good juju. When removing the eye pads, I like to start from the outer corner of the eye and gently pull down and across so that we don't disturb the lashes themselves. Once those have been removed, you can invite your client to slowly open her eyes. And then I'll hand her a mirror, let her take a look at her gorgeous lashes, and that'll be the end of that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful.